as I'm sure you can tell, I got a new rod in the mail. My old Finesse rod looks like this now. All I did was cast, but the rod did take on a 15-pound carp in river current. It's caught a decent amount of bigger fish from my lake and other bodies of water. So it lasted a year and a half, and in my mind, I got my money's worth. But when it was time to replace it, I figured, why not get its big brother? So this is the Daiwa Tatula XT. It's a 7-foot medium light, fast action. It's double the price of what I paid for the other one, the Aired X or the Air DX, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw a Neko rig on it. I'm going to get it out there, just kind of give it a little bit of a test run. This isn't really a review or an impressions. It's more or less just, hey, I got a new rod. Let me show you guys. And yeah, probably it'll be a first impressions video. I'll probably talk about it as I'm fishing it. I don't know how well that's going to go with the wind being as it is right now, but we'll see. So let me go ahead and throw the chesty on. Let me rig this up and get it out in the water, and I'll be right back with you. Alright, so I'm apparently out of Neko hooks. So what I had to do is just use one of my bigger, wacky drop shot hooks. So let's see. Right off the bat, it casts really nice. It feels nice in my hand. It's got this EVA foam here, whereas the other rod just had hard plastic. So on the colder days and on the slower days where I was using this rod or the Finesse rod a lot, it really got tiresome and it really got uncomfortable, but the foam just kind of fits really nicely in my hand. And this is a mid-level, not really, well, I would call it mid-level for me. It's only, the rod's only $100, so it's not a $150 rod, but at the same time, it's not a $50 rod. That's a snag. I'm about to lose my last Neko setup, Right off the bat though, it casts really nice. It feels super sensitive. Like I felt that rock before I snagged on it, which is great. The Aired X or the Air DX, whatever you want to call it, was sensitive. It was fairly sensitive, but this is a whole new level of sensitivity, especially, you know, when it comes to Finesse for me anyway. So let's see. Man, I mean, it's nice. It's smooth. The real test on it, obviously, and we all know, is, you know, what it's gonna feel like if I catch a fish on it. With the wind the way it is right now, that's, you know, it's anybody's guess as to whether or not I'm actually gonna catch a fish on this thing. So, but I'm feeling, and it's just, I don't know, maybe it's in my head, but I'm feeling a lot more right now. I mean, I'm only 2 casts in, so let's see. Let's try once. Let's try once over here with the Ned rig that I'm probably gonna snag and lose, but let's see. That being said, like, I wonder if it's like, is it worth it to try to skip it up underneath this deck? Anyone think they're hiding under there right now? Probably not, right? Probably not, right? Let's see. Let's stand right here. Is that a fish? It is. My drag was still tight. I felt him. I felt him. All right, look at that. Look at that, everyone. We got a fish. Let's not lose him. Can't tell where he's hooked. I think he's hooked right in the, hey, bottom of the lip. Look at that. Popped right out. Yeah, he was right. It was all cartilage. Maybe they are holding the cover right now. Look at that. He's skinny. He doesn't look good. He's not fattening up or anything like that. So, I mean, yeah, look how skinny this fish is. I mean, you'd think they'd be fattening up. Anyways, yeah, so back to how the rod handled. I felt him I felt him really well. Like I pulled up and I felt a little pressure, and as I was releasing slack, I still felt a little shake, which is cool because on the other rod I wouldn't have been able to feel that. Well, got him. He's digging. He's right in the roof of the mouth too. All right. They're getting aggressive, which is cool because they've been real lethargic. Another one. Another one falls victim to the Ned rig. Cool, man. Really getting a feel for the rod. Look at you. You're nice. All right. Wow, the water is still really cold. Even though they're getting aggressive, this water is still ice cold. My hand's numb right now. So yeah, that's it. Real quick, I just wanted to take a minute to go over a couple of things that I liked about the rod so far. I've only caught like 4 fish on it. The biggest thing for me is it feels like it's more solidly built. It's still a 7-foot medium light, but it feels more solid. Just the build quality, the guides, the rod itself, the blank, the reel seat, the handle, everything just feels better. It feels really good in my hand, and I think that all just comes down to the fact that it's got the foam instead of the hard plastic and metal by the reel seat, like the other rod did. I also really like its castability. It casts really well. It's got a lot of spring to it. It's a 7-foot medium light, so that's to be expected. But I was purposely casting lighter things. I was casting, really light Ned rigs, weightless wacky rigs. I did throw an Echo rig on there, so that added a little bit of weight to it. But it casted really well. And on top of casting, it was extremely sensitive. The other rod was sensitive, and the other rod was a phenomenal rod. This was just a whole new level. I could feel the bottom. There were 2 of the 4 bites I had on it were extremely subtle, and it was more or less just the line started walking. But before the line started walking, I felt a tap. It basically just the fish opening its mouth and sucking the lure in as it was, headed out. And I felt that, which is something I'd never experienced on the other rod. And I think it all just boils down to that was a $50 rod. This is a $100 rod, so you've got, double the price. It's to be expected the quality is a little bit better. Now, that's not to say that the other rod is a bad rod. I loved that rod. I would still be using that rod if it hadn't broken. And that rod did something that a 7-foot medium light probably isn't made for. It fought a 15-plus pound carp in heavy river current. It was snagged more times than I can think of. I've fought the ground thinking it was a fish more times than I can count. It's been stepped on by a toddler. It's been dropped. Hasn't been run over, but it lasted over a year and a half, and I think I got my $50 worth. So I'm going to leave both rods linked down below, just in case anyone wants to pick either rod up. There was only really one thing that I didn't like about the new rod, the Tatula XT, and it's that it feels like the handle and the grip, it feels like it's a little bit wider. So, with my teeny tiny little dainty hands here, it felt just a little bit bigger with the reel seated on it. Other than that, though, I really like it. And I'm going to come back in about 6 months or a year or so and do another impressions video and just kind of go over how the rod has been performing and how I feel about it, having used it for so long. But as of right now, I really think it's worth the extra money that I spent. That being said, if you guys have any questions, go ahead, leave them down in the comment section, slide into my DMs on Instagram, shoot me an email, whatever you want to do. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell so you can stay up to date with me in the channel and know when I post new content. Follow me over on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys next time.